We are so proud, happy, and lucky to have been in business this long, and we've delivered hundreds of icons at this point. So, with that in mind, we thought it'd be fun to put together some, shall we say, anthology videos and try and show you as quick as possible, because there's a lot of vehicles to cover. Like with my FJ series, we're talking about over 170 trucks, so the video might be a little long. But I just kind of want to show from day one up to our most recent build, so you get a sense of what we've accomplished and how we've evolved, and you'll see many design details that have changed and evolved over the years. So this video is focusing on our FJ series, and I hope you enjoy the ride. What is icon? In essence, modern performance with the classic aesthetic. The idea was to continue the ethic of utility and the design clarity of Toyota's original Land Cruiser, but in a decidedly more modern context. In layman's terms, you can drive the hell out of it, you can jump it like a lunatic, you can see dips in the road and speed up instead of slow down, and it lets you be a bit more of a wild man. It's an FJ45 pickup, number 34, 5.3 fuel injected LS motor. And then it also has the AX15 5-speed and the Atlas 2 twin stick transfer case. Here is an Icon FJ40. It's built in the new school style and the instrument cluster, which are my earlier generation design. If you prefer the new one, it's a pretty simple upgrade. Features a titanium veneer and a texture wave coating. Very simple controls. One dash light, 12-volt power port in the front. There's another one in the rear. And simply controls for headlights and wipers. Ready to be loaded on a plane and it's off to Norway. So this is an FJ45. It is built in the new school style with a few elements of old school due to local regulatory issues in Norway. It's actually my favorite 44 thus far, and the first production Icon 44 running the new Fox racing suspension components with Eibach. We just switched suppliers of our shocks to Fox, and we've been really pleased with the improvement in ride quality. It's built in the new school style, which denotes the 17-inch Teflon coated aluminum rims. This is one of the first trucks to come out with our new LED lighting system, including the headlights. These lights were developed in the military theater predominantly for the H1 and other mil apps, and we finally talked the supplier into developing a 12-volt version to sell to us. November 2011. This is a Baja edition FJ40 Icon with a bit of the new school design package elements mixed in. Here you see the power steps. These are kind of cool. They're on door sensors. Door opens, they fold down, door shuts, they go away, and they hide up above the frame rails so they're not a liability off-road. But they really help out for ingress. This truck's built in what we call Rocky Mountain Gray, which is one of our more popular colors. Probably the Volcanic Black's a little bit more popular, but we do a lot of them in this color. It's a Teflon polyester hybrid powder coat. FJ40 Icon and Volcanic Black new school package that were batteries from Optima. We're actually finding the interstates will take extended periods of storage better than the Optimas. Although it's a matte finish, it has a certain amount of surface sheen that gives it a little bit of character. It's actually the original Icon color, our very first one. Sometimes it's confused with the Volcanic Black, which is a much edgier, darker, that's very similar to the canvas on the top. Recently we updated those headlights, so now all our headlighting is light emitting diodes. Really happy with those. They work really well, very efficient. This is the first FJ44 that we've done actually in our quartz white. Like all our finishes, it's somewhat matte, but it kind of plays with the light. First 44, which is our 6-passenger 4-door that we have built in our new eucalyptus green color. This also has our roof rack and ladder option. This is the dilapidated old FJ40 we started out with to build the FJ43 Icon for our client. So here's what we started with, and here's what happened. It took about a year. You immediately know something's up. This is not your average vintage FJ. Just clean and stealth and crafty. It's another one I wouldn't mind keeping, but I seem to say that a lot. Can't afford my own work. Definitely doing something wrong here. This video is going to show off what happens when you start with a SCSI 70 FJ40 that's pretty much at the end of its viable life cycle, like you saw in that first shot. And then geek out on it for about 16 months. That dash piece again. That's CNC'd aluminum that's then coated in the Icon proprietary Volcanic Black finish. is try and emulate the surface texture and match the color as best as possible with Line-X polyurea. So it's not perfect. It's a really nice truck. I'm really happy with it. Runs and drives great. As you'll notice, we also tinted the windows at the client's request. Straightforward utilitarian build theme. This truck's running the 5.3 GMLS aluminum fuel injected V8 to the GM. We're running the Warn winch, the 9.5 with recovery gear, auxiliary LED front and rear fog lights. That motor you're hearing is our 350 horse, 400 torque, 5.3 aluminum fuel injected LS motor with Vortec intake and injectors and pulley driven accessories. I just love what I do. We took this decrepit 45 and wha-bam, turned it into this lovely 45. Before I reordered it, stopped to consider redesigning it and coming up with some new ideas. So now I really am excited to do the prototype of what will be our Gen 3 version, or at least the prototype upon which we're testing a bunch of different solutions and systems on to determine what we want to do for Gen 3. So we kind of saw sort of a birthday opportunity in that we're just finished delivering Icon 100 in the FJ line, and seemed like a good opportunity, combined with the fact that our good friends at the Peterson Museum here in Los Angeles were finishing up and reopening with a massive redesign themselves. And they asked if we'd be interested in displaying something at the museum. So I'm really honored because they've asked me recently to be a part of sort of an industry section of the museum. Their truck is built with a larger 5.7, 390 horse, 420 torque, LS6 generation long block. FJ40 number 100. Yay! We should throw some kind of party, right? I guess we did with the Peterson Special. For tires, we're running the new BF Goodrich all-terrain tires, and those are upon the new Icon made in California forged aluminum wheels, bucket seats, total of 4, all with the carbon fiber seat heaters. Also running the Chilowich textile option, which includes the seat inserts and the floor mats. Now this new one, which we're calling Pacific Blue. We also have the new Icon gauge clusters, co-designed with our friends at Dakota Digital, and then CNC'd updated housing for that, and then the matched one for the glove box door. New glove box door art, new font on that art was done in part when we updated the AC to the latest and greatest, highest performance unit we could stuff in here. We have the AMP Research Icon specific powered steps on all 4 doors. We got the good old fire extinguisher. We have the lovely new gauges. This truck has the new Icon Center console, the new audio system with focal speakers, JL Audio and Alpine for bass and amp, and an 8100 NEX head unit, which is CarPlay and Android compatible, and Bluetooth and navigation, CD. You may notice we recently upgraded that bracket that holds those switches, the one that comes from ARB. I don't know, it's just an L-shaped bracket and you see all the wires and crap behind it. Always drove me nuts. So we designed this and it works really well. Combined with the capability of the twin stick transfer case, that all collectively allows you to route power to exactly where you need it. One of the more dangerous situations off-road, I mean, just, you know, you don't want to lose traction, period. But when you've lost traction and you're sitting there gassing it, and suddenly one wheel grabs traction, it can send you off on an unexpected trajectory. So being able to have that much precise control is really, really helpful and can make a huge difference. So enough about that. On the outer ends of those axles, you will find the Brembo brakes designed for Icon by our good partners at Brembo. They rock. When I first designed this model, I was inspired by the Japanese domestic market, and I guess a lot of other places, but they just never came to the US, FJ43. because they had more room inside, there was more storage. But the bummer with them was Toyota had to do it on the cheap, so they basically cut and extended the frame. So yeah, the body lengthened, but they didn't lengthen the wheelbase. In fact, I'd really like to personally deliver this one. Can you imagine ripping through Cairo and out in the sand with this truck? It'd be so much fun. So it's still an Icon. It's an FJ40, but what's different about it is we did it in a far more kind of retro, traditional style. Like, well, that's actually kind of a cool idea. So we put the lizard on the body of the face of the body of the light. So kind of subtle, but kind of nifty. I think it works out pretty good. Connected to the Ace & Warner AX15 5-speed transmission. Love these trannies, never had a single problem with them. They're super stout and compact. That in turn sends power through the Atlas to twin-stick, shift-on-the-fly, part-time four-wheel drive transfer case. It has hard doors. So basically, we took multiple vintage 75 and newer Land Cruiser hard doors and then just hemorrhaged ours to make them work here. This is number 120 and it is a 1975. So let's get right to it. We are running the Pacific Blue, one of my favorite colors. We are running the new and improved rear view mirrors, which kick ass. I'm so happy with the way those turned out. So those are machined out of 6061 and then powder coated with all stainless hardware. So while we're running the same gauges that we know and love and trust from Dakota Digital, again, I redesigned the face of those gauges to reference the original font, indices, and sort of design character more. Steering wheel, we're running the one you've seen probably on like the big earth mover mining trucks. I dig it. 1972 FJ40 transformed into an Icon FJ44. Specifically, this is number 125. Pacific Blue, lovely color that you don't see done too often by us. We have the usual Icon front and rear bumper systems. We have the 9.5 Warren winch. Canvas is done in brown, as is the German marine rated vinyl on the interior and the Chilowich. So the Chilowich is the normal weave you see us use that's normally in that kind of black gray situation, but this time it's got a brown and gray situation. And I think all together it worked really, really well. It is loaded. It has some custom options that you don't normally see, and pretty much all of the ones you would normally like to see. The updated Gen 4 by Vintage Air climate control system, and we tried something different with the vents on this truck. We put these on the mill, and we drilled a hole at dead center, and then we put these nice little stainless knurled screws in there. So now you can simply grab the head and push-pull, and I think it's a nice improvement. We are in Icon FJ number 131. It is the new Icon branded headlights with the LED glow rings for turn signals. As you move on to the interior, this truck has 3 rows of seating for a total capacity of 6. The third row is running the Tuck and Tumble 4, number 133. It started life as a 69 FJ40. It was beat to hell. So we have the Mac Daddy audio, so that's the elevated audio, as we are supposed to professionally call it, which means you have the Focal K2 speakers, the amp, and the bass. We're also running sat radio, reverse camera, and we have parking sensors plumbed front and rear. And this time he said, hey man, how come you guys have never done an FJ44 with a hardtop? And I said, well, because it would be an absolute money pit. It'd be crazy. Like, here's a rendering. I've had the idea for a while, but it would be really labor intensive to do. And he's like, well, so what's the problem? Let's do it. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess that's all I needed to hear. Let's do it. We're in The latest Icon project. This is a Icon FJ44. We are in an Icon FJ44. Specifically, it's a 1974 FJ40 restored, modified, and rebodied into an Icon FJ44. Seems like there's been a run on the Pacific blue color lately. We painted it in one of my personal favorite colors, which is a contemporary Audi color known as Nardo Gray. This truck was built as a bikini top as well as with a full removable hardtop. 141st Icon. It's an FJ44. It is built in the new school design package with the old school rims. FJ40. This truck is built in the new school style in the FJ43 body. So this truck's really nicely set up. It's our sand tan color. Instead, this hardtop is several FJ40 hardtops cut and crafted together into the new length. In the new school specification, specifically, it is a 1971, and it is production unit number 144. We are now going to be introducing a new version of the Icon FJ. So this new version will be available in the new school or the old school design packages, and it is called the Roadster. This is a pretty straightforward build, as Icon builds go, that is. So this is, again, new school design package. It's finished in the Rocky Mountain. This truck is built in the sand tan powder coat finish, reminiscent of the original Sahara tan paint coat. One of my personal favorites. Keeps it organic, breaks up the black and gray routine that everyone seems to repeat. So this one is a new school design package. So that means it has a more industrial, technical vibe with our front bull bar and rear dual carrier bumper system, along with all the usual new school goodies you're used to seeing throughout the interior and trim. Beat to hell and beyond salvation. This is Icon FJ number 155. On the FJ configurator on the site, we've allowed people the visualization tools to render it with different colored tops. 158. This is a 1974 FJ40 that was beyond traditional salvation. We do two blues, this being the darker of the two we simply call Pacific Blue. And all the trim is in the standard signature Icon old school finish, which is kind of like a pewtery gray tone. Our 6-passenger 4-door extended wheelbase version we refer to as the FJ44, and it is restored in the new school design package. Icon FJ40, specifically it is number 161. It is built in the new school style with a bunch of kind of neat variants and options. Now this truck is in the old school design package, so it is the very first, the original Icon color referred to as Rocky Mountain Gray. Being an old school, it's more of a retro vibe. This truck is finished in a color you don't see us do too often that we refer to as spruce green. And if you're really into Icon, you may notice it's slightly different than previous spruce greens. 3 rows of seating, providing butt spaces for 6 occupants. So the front 4 captain's chairs have the optional carbon fiber seat heaters that deliver 2 stages of heat. It's on a 5052 H32 unannealed aluminum body. The underside of the body is coated in a heat-cured polyurea, as are the inside floors. That's all standard stuff. And we have the tuck and tumble 2-passenger rear bench seat with removable headrests. That seat is also removable if you really need more room. We have the front door option cargo map. And we did the somewhat rarely seen bifold tailgate design. It's nice, makes entering the rear a little bit easier. We're running the new school Icon forged 18-inch American-made aluminum wheels with our beloved BF Goodrich all-terrain tires. Mechanically, running our LS3, it's about 430 horse, 430 torque, fuel injected aluminum. Power is being sent through to the General Motors 4L65E modified and enhanced automatic transmission. It's kind of becoming standard equipment, it seems, these days. People really appreciate the difference, and the cost of the option is somewhat trivial at the scale of the cost of the vehicle. I think it's like $1,500 to upgrade to the remote canisters, 2 rates of tunability, nitrogen charged, and they really do help. Even if you're not doing aggressive off-road, you can really dial it in more specifically to how you're going to use it and the terrain in which you care to use it. Of course, we have in-dash contemporary heat and AC and defrost that's provided by our friends at Vintage Air. And then we have nice extruded aluminum double hard coat black anodized in-dash vents that are push-pull to close, focus the air where you want it, or to be a pig and not share it with your passenger. And then the knobs are all my design, and those are all machined aluminum with black enamel infill for function. The dashes on these are super simple, and that's how I like it. On the FJ40, number 171, this truck is built in the new school style. Specifically, it's what we call the Roadster, which is a fairly recent addition to the Icon lineup. And basically, picture your favorite trail shoes or flip-flops. So super simple, sling them on and go have some fun. This is the automotive equivalent of that.